When it comes to using technology, it can be a very visual medium. We use the screen for input, whether that's on our smartphones with our thumbs, or whether we are using a keyboard on a conventional PC. So it can be difficult to perceive what the challenges are when it comes to being visually impaired or blind. But in some ways, we're already using screens without the visual aspect of them. We might be driving a car and making a phone call, putting a note in a diary, asking for information, or even, asking for a particular podcast to be played. So we are in a situation of already using technology without screens. However, there are times when we do need to use screens, and there are tools built into every operating system which help people who are visually impaired and even blind to use that screen. Now, even people who are registered blind may have some peripheral vision, but there are options, for instance, to have the computer read out what's happening on the screen, and it will describe the dialog box that opens, what the choices are, and so on. There's also tools like the magnifier, where you literally have an area that is magnified and you can move it around the screen like you might with a magnifying glass, and a text. Or you can keep that magnified area stable, perhaps in a bar at the top of the screen, and then move the content into it. So that means that you can keep your eyes focused on one area of the screen, and then simply, so you don't have to keep shifting your focus around in order to find the place you want. Then there's high contrast or enlarged icons. The thing is that everybody's visual impairment is going to be different. So ideally what we need to do is we need to show them what the choices are and help them to find what works best for them. The other thing we need to do is to help them to use the device most efficiently. Now, when it comes to a computer with a keyboard and a mouse, one of the things we can do is teach them to touch type, so that they can keep their eyes on the screen and they can keep their fingers on the keyboard, so they don't have to keep switching their vision between one and the other. Similarly, we need to teach them keyboard shortcuts, so that they don't have to take their hand off the computer and put it on the mouse, and then bring it back from the mouse and put it on the computer, and all the time be looking for the cursor around the screen. Very simple keyboard shortcut is Alt, Left, Shift, and print screen, and that brings up high contrast. You can do it on any machine, and it means immediately you've got instant access to potentially an easier to interface with which to interact. Another one is simply hold down the control button and scroll the mouse wheel, and that will zoom in and out on a screen. So we need to show people what the tools are, help them to use the tools that they have as effectively as they can, and put them in charge. But there's other things we can think about. One is the kinds of apps that are available. I don't know if you've come across Microsoft's Seeing AI. It's only available for Apple products. But it does things like describe people. You hold your smartphone up, point it out to a person, and it tells you if they know who they are. If you told them who they are, it'll give you names or give you descriptions. It will help you know what colours are in your environment, or what you're wearing perhaps. It can even read banknotes and tell you what currency and denomination they are. So the device can become the visual interface with the environment, and there are more possibilities developing in that way too. So technology as it stands for people with visual impairments or who are blind has plenty to offer, even careers in coding. But the technology that's developing is also really exciting.